Well guys, deer feeders are officially in the Hunter Call of the Wild, and I just figured out how to grind with them efficiently. And let me tell you guys this, they are overpowered. Now, not just great one grinding, but if you just want to shoot hundreds of animals every hour in general, this is definitely the video for you. So without further ado, my friends, let's go ahead and learn how to grind your map with the new deer feeders. Now, obviously, this video is going to be a pretty good method for great one grinding, but that's not like the goal with this video. That's a tank of a buck to get us started. 213 there. Nice and even. Really like that rack. This video is going to cover literally everything you need to know to take your hunt to the next level. So if you're not the type of person that likes to great one grind and you just want to get the most out of the deer feeders, I guess that's kind of what I'm doing today, but this is going to provide you with a variety of animals. It's not just like one specific animal like whitetail, for example. I mean, you'll be able to shoot bears from these, you'll be able to shoot blacktail from these, whitetail as you just seen, moose. As you can see, look here, we got a feeder right outside of this outpost, the Ball Mount outpost, and we have a giant level 4 blacktail out there. Let's freaking go. And I'm sure more animals will be in as the day progresses. Okay, so this took me a lot of trial and error to figure out. I just kind of messed with them for a few hours, and I eventually came to the conclusion that you're not going to need any tents for this. Literally, all you're going to need is the feeder map limit, which is 8. You can't place any more than 8 feeders on any map at any given time. So buy all 8 of your feeders, which is going to be insanely cheaper than buying 16 tents, which is the map limit, and finding your drink zones and whatnot. Buy yourself 8 tripods if you don't already have 8 tripods. You can always pull tripods from a grind if you're done with that grind or if you don't want to grind anymore. And take note of where animals drink at. Now, for example, whitetail commonly drink all up this river system here, pretty much all the way up to the top, I believe, all through this middle portion, inside of the Ball Mount swamp here, I believe all along the coast, all up into this little, I don't even know what you would call that, I guess a river slash pond thing here. Also, in those same areas that I just highlighted, moose drink, bears drink, you'll find jackrabbits, coyotes, so there's a good variety of animals simply just by hunting these areas. And frankly, what we're doing here is we're eliminating the purpose of running and gunning, which you can definitely still do. These feeders aren't going to attract every single animal on your map, but they do attract a crap ton. So literally all you're going to need to do is pick 8 outposts in those specific areas. If you want to attract more like Rocky Mountain elk or something, you can place feeders in between these 2 lakes here. You can place feeders in the northernmost regions. Looks like it's also going to be good for blacktail up here. I strongly suggest joining my Discord server. I have hotspot maps in there that show you when and where to find each animal in the entire game. And if you can't tell, kind of just what we're doing here is we're placing feeders around where they might be drinking at, but we're not setting it to their drink time. We'll get into that here in just a second, but first I'm going to show you guys how I'm set up. Okay, so when I was setting up my tripods and feeders, I was kind of doing the same thing that I would if I were setting up for a great one grind with tents and tripods, except the fact that the outposts are already there, so you don't need to worry about placing tents. You can just use the outposts to fast travel. Pick your 8 outposts. I'll show you my setup, but you might not be doing it in late-in. If you want to do it in late-in, well, there's my setup. Pretty much every single feeder's had animals at it so far, so I can promise you this setup definitely works. Anything in similarity will work. It doesn't really matter where you place your feeders. I mean, you can even use tents if you want, but to save money, which is something that a lot of people want to do, I'm using outposts for this video, and I probably will for any other map that I'm going to set up feeders on because of the fact that I want to save my tents for great one grinding, because I'm an addict. So once you've picked a outpost that you want to set up a feeder at, go ahead and fast travel there. And the only thing that you need to worry about here is the feeder's distance from the outpost. I'm going to go ahead and place a waypoint on it. It doesn't really matter where you place your tripod, just somewhere's in between that you can see the animals feeding perfectly with a good open shot. You want to make sure that your feeder is at least, and I mean a minimum of 250 meters from the outpost, because when you spawn into any fast travelable POI, so tents or outposts, I believe are the only things you can fast travel to, any animal within a 250 meter radius, that's 360 degrees around you, is going to take off running. He's going to spook. Any animal outside of 250 meters will have no idea. So as you can see, I have my feeder about 300 meters roughly, and I have my tripod about 210 meters. So we got a 200 meter dash here. I'll catch you guys when we get there. Alrighty, I'm about to walk up to my tripod right now, but I want you guys to be mindful of something real quick. gonna go ahead and place a waypoint on top of my feeder, and as you can see, I'm 144 meters from my feeder. My tree stand's probably like roughly 120, and the animals will start to hear you around 164. So once you get to 164, I'd recommend slowing down to a walk, pulling up your binoculars, and spotting the animals that are out there. Now, there is barely anything there right now because I just reset the time. We're going to talk about what time to set it to and how to get a crap ton of animals there fast here in just a second. And if the animals start to go attentive, which this cow here is about 135 out, she has no idea, I'm just walking. But if I were to run, eventually she's going to start to notice me. Now, she is just a level 1, so she's not very smart, but hey, maybe we can get lucky. I literally just ran right up into the tripod. Well, trust me, guys, that doesn't work every time. If you don't believe me, go try it yourself. Try to do it to a level 2 whitetail buck. Ooh, we got a bull coming in, okay. Slowly but surely, more animals are starting to come into the feeder. Now, I do use the post feeders to attract the deer species, the rabbit species, and just the vast majority of species on your map. You're going to want to use the post feeder or the... Look at that, we got some whitetail coming in. Or the box feeder. The only difference with the box feeder is it doesn't attract the class 1 animals, and bears can break it. So if you're in a map where there's bears like Layton, it'll definitely be worth it to buy the post feeders. Honestly, you probably should in general, because they're literally the exact same price as the box feeders. They're both 12K. You can also set up 1 or 2 barrel feeders if you want as well. It doesn't matter what feeders you use, I'm just telling you what the best one is in my opinion, and for the specific species that I'm trying to attract. So just a quick recap here before I blast this buck into next year. Honestly, I might go for the bull instead. He's pretty dang nice. Or both. 2 more bucks coming in now. Okay, I like what I'm seeing. You want to make sure that your feeder is at least, and I mean at least, 250 meters from the outpost. So when I spawn in, if these animals were here, which if you set the time properly, look at that, we got a bear coming in. They definitely should be, they just weren't here right off the bat because the time was so early. They were still making their way in. They should not hear you spawn in. And then like I said, it doesn't really matter where you place your tripod, you just want to make sure that when you're running up to it, if it's closer than 140 meters, like I have it set up here, about 100 meters roughly from all the deer, you just want to make sure that you don't spook them when you're running in, because if you just run full blast in, by the time you get into your tripod, they're already going to be long gone. So just make sure you're being mindful of where they're at, make sure you're spotting them as you're walking, because if they do go attentive, you're going to want to crouch or go prone, so that way obviously they don't spook. So there you go, now you know how to set up. I'm going to go ahead and talk about how the heck to get this many animals at your feeders and the best times to set it to here in just a second. So that guy's up to 217. Think that's our best option here. So therefore, I'm going to try to get this moose with the 30-06 here. Grab that. I went for a follow-up, but I think we got a single lung with that first shot, so. Moose are tanks, it's just going to take them a second to drop, but as you can see, there he goes. And then from this point, if you have 8 extra tents, it will definitely be helpful to have a claim tent like out there near your post. So that's literally just the tent you would place like right there roughly. So that way you don't have to run out here and claim your kills. But if you don't want it to be too grindy, or if you don't have the money and you don't want to turn your game into like a first-person shooter and you want it to stay somewhat realistic, I know teleporting around your map and hunting 8 feeders at once is not very realistic, but in a way it kind of is. You can definitely feel free to do that, just make sure that you don't place it right on top of your feeder, because when the animals spawn in to eat around your feeder, if they spawn in on top of your tent will do the beaver felled the tree on your placeable object thing, and it'll just return the tent to your inventory. Beautiful double lung there from 100 meters, so having that tripod closer definitely helps, especially if you're not a very good shot. And look at this, we have the animals that we shot at, including that level 7 bear up there in front of us. So here you go, we're back to casual hunting. You don't have to just feeder hunt. You're gonna see other animals in the process of hunting these feeders, considering the fact that if you're set up at 8 separate ones, and they're at a wide variety of locations at your map, you're gonna be going around your map like crazy, so you're gonna see a lot of animals. Now, this guy's not giving me a very good angle. This one is now. What's up, buddy? Ooh, this one's just standing around. Dropped him. I love the 30-06. Now, one thing I forgot to talk about was hunting pressure. You want to be careful with shooting animals when you're not in a tripod around your feeder here. As you can see, those 2 whitetail that I just shot at were very, very far away, so that hunting pressure is not going to affect them. But keep in mind that you can only shoot 14 animals from your feeder, and the 15th will blow out the zone and then they won't return to the feeder because of hunting pressure. They will over time, but you gotta wait for the hunting pressure to go away. But if you're set up at 8, or I mean at least 5 feeders, and you're jumping between them and maybe shooting 2 to 4 animals out of each feeder at a time, you shouldn't have any issues over time. Unless you're, tracking animals, and there's some, like, within 90 meters of your feeder that you're shooting, and the hunting pressure just happens to overlap your feeder, then yeah, that will definitely affect if animals come back or not, so just be mindful of that. We got this nice level 3 bull here. I'm gonna say like 190? 192. Beautiful right long there. Not bad for the 30-06. From 100 meters, I mean, decent penetration there. Still took him a minute to drop, but the 30-06 is a 4-8 rifle, and moose are class 8, so it's literally the biggest species you can possibly shoot with them. And then look at this, guys. I'm literally about to find another zone. What are you? You are a coyote zone. They rest from 7 to 10, so there you go. You just discovered a need zone. Now you can set the time to like 8:30. You can come back, and now you have a place to hunt coyotes as well, and you already know where they are, just simply by tracking an animal. So for beginner players that are like having a hard time finding animals and maybe kind of getting bored with the game, feeders can open up a whole new variety of hunting for you. And they can literally force you to get out there and just find animals, especially if you copy my setup, where there's a very, very good variety of places to hunt. I mean, as far as the bottom left-hand corner, 4 places on the left-hand river, and then 3 locations in Ballmount. That's a really, really good variety of latent lakes. Alright guys, so at this point you're probably wondering, what time am I setting it to? And how am I getting animals to spawn in just instantly like this? Well, this does require a little bit of information digging. All that info can be found in my Discord server simply just by asking someone. If you're hunting a map that has moose, whitetail, black bear, so like Layton or Reventuli, there's no black bear on Reventuli, but that's kind of also a good thing because you can use box feeders. But then again, brown bear can knock them down, so it's a whole nother problem there. But if you have a map with like, a good variety of those animals, deer species, moose, some class 1 animals like turkeys and rabbits, Layton is a really, really, really good suggestion here, and the good thing is everybody has this map because it's free. The best time for you to set it to is gonna be about 7 AM. And the reason for this is because that's the last hour of whitetail feed time, moose are feeding, blacktail are feeding, coyotes should either be resting or feeding, so there's a good chance that they can just come by. It doesn't really have to be their feed time for them to come feed. If they pass within 400 meters of it, and their AI decides that they want to, they can literally just decide to go to your feeder at any time, and this goes for animals that are drinking, but it's more likely that they'll remember where your feeder's location is, and they'll come back at their designated feed time, but it's still possible that you could see literally anything. Anything that your feed attracts, obviously. So I would suggest 7 AM. As you can see, these whitetail are leaving because it's 8 AM now, and whitetail drink from 8 to 12. Coyote out there, so they're leaving to go to their drink time. If I reset the time to 7 AM, they would be here. But you still got some really, really good opportunities for a crap ton of moose here. We got 2 bulls out in front of us. So 7 AM is a really, really, really good universal time, especially for like Reventuli, where moose and whitetail would be feeding at that time. Probably a number of other species feeding at that time as well. The species that feed and rest 24/7, like the capercaillie, all the grouse species, Inniskeet Ridge, Reventuli, yada yada. Look at that, 2 coyotes out there now, plus a bunch of whitetail, plus a bunch of moose. Look at the amount of animals that are in front of me right now. 7 AM is going to be a good time for those types of maps. Now, it's kind of like trial and error. Maybe just try a couple different times and see what time works best for you for the specific map that you're on. I would suggest doing some research for your target species feed time. Say, for example, turkeys feed 4 to 8, so 7 AM would be a great time to hunt turkeys here. And considering the fact that it's 8 AM, that's probably why they're not here. That, or the post feeder doesn't attract turkeys, which is also very possible. I've never tried it. So we're going to take this bull, try to get a heart shot on that one. Let's go. That was the 300s, so the other one should go down really quickly. And then look all the way out there. Those whitetail are on their way to their drink zone still. They are plenty far away, I believe. About 250 meters. That should be more than enough distance. And then look at this. Can yoink a whitetail as well. So now we got 3 animals down in literally like 30 seconds. Go ahead and claim this light brown here. Beautiful long heart shot. The other one's probably gonna run. I will claim him in a second. And then from this point on, literally just claim your animals, take your cash. Oh, there he is. And move on to your next deer feeder. And then once you make it through all of your deer feeders, you'll have plenty of money to reset the time if you're that broke. No offense. It's a tan there, 179, single lung. Ooh, we got a level 7 Yodi up there. Oh my gosh, there's 4 coyotes in front of me right now. This is insane. And I would say this is probably one of the funnest ways to play the Hunter Call of the Wild as a very beginner. All you need to do is save up enough money to buy, like, I would say a minimum of at least 5 feeders, which is not that hard of a thing to do. Just go hunt some crocs in Emerald Coast for like 100 kills. You'll have $100,000. 100 kills is nothing. I can do that in like 3 hours. And then once you have enough money, just rewatch this guide. It's pretty simple to remember how to get set up, but figure out what your target species are. Like I said, a good time for hunting several species at once here in Layton Lakes at least is 7 a.m. because there's going to be moose, whitetail, yodis, jackrabbits if you hunt the lower portions, blacktail if you hunt the lower portions. And over time, as you keep doing this, you're gonna spawn trophies as well. So it's also a really good way to trophy hunt. If you're hunting a species that has a great one, you can very well spawn a great one doing this method, absolutely. I would always recommend 8 zones, set up and start shooting for any great one grind. Yes, there's way more to it, but in the simplest form, that's what you're supposed to do. And that is exactly what you're doing, despite the fact that you can shoot whitetail, moose, and black bear at the same time. Now another thing, black bear aren't going to be at your feeders at 7 a.m. here in Layton, or any map that black bear are in because they drink from 4 to 8. I've found that the best time to hunt black bear is 2 a.m. And also you're going to want to set up with the bait barrel feeders for black bear or any predator species. I'm sure you could get some coyotes in there as well. Ooh. Oh, look at these guys. 2 absolute tanks leaving my feeder here. I wish the time was still 7 a.m. Now I gotta shoot them out of my tripod. So as the final kill of the day, absolutely smoked him. If you guys have any questions or anything feeder related, definitely let me know down below. I will try my absolute best to reply to you ASAP. If not, then one of my moderators will get to you extremely quickly. They always do. So in conclusion, I would say the feeders are one of the best additions to the Hunter Call of the Wild ever. Super easy way to find an insane amount of animals really fast. And you can set up like this on several different maps, and you can hunt a wide variety of animals on several different maps. So this is huge for beginner players and maybe just people who don't have the time to cover tens of miles of ground and just want to find animals easily and quickly, and a lot of them. So yeah, there's a nice gold, 214, super even buck, nice. If you guys did enjoy this video and you found it helpful, definitely let me know down below by smashing that like button and subscribing. I am a 16-year-old content creator, pretty much doing this full-time, and I'm trying to make this obviously a full-time job. So if you guys would like to help support me in my journey here on YouTube, definitely help me out by doing something as simple as clicking the like button. Thank you guys all so much for watching, and as always, my name is Squid. You're watching Squid Outdoors, and we'll catch you guys in the next hunt. Peace out, my gamers.